together today, we thank you for all your blessings you bestowed upon us. As we start tonight's meeting, we ask for those less fortunate. We ask for your guidance and wisdom as our elected officials make important decisions that would benefit our city. We pray to you in heaven up above to watch over us, and as always, we pray in your name. Amen. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. Under public comments this evening, we have, is there Alfredo Mata? This time at 6:16 p.m. Go ahead, Mr. Arjona.
Yes, Mayor, Commissioners, good evening. Staff, today on the presentation, we have a presentation on departmental reports. Tonight we have the Department of Planning and Zoning, the Department of Parks and Recreation, San Juan Memorial Library, and Department of Sanitation. If you have any questions, I think pretty much everybody's here. Should you have any questions for them? But before we start, I'd like to say that Mr. Rene Garza is with us, Mayor, as requested at the last meeting, that we talked about the 495 and Stewart Road. Mr. Garza, are you there?
495 in Stewart?
Oh, yeah, that was one of the other ones that the speed was reduced as well
Oh, yeah.
at the last ordinance.
Oh, the speed limit. Oh, that's correct.
Yes, and I have, I pulled out the ordinance as to the, on the speed limit in that area. So the whole thing from my road all the way to Cesar Chavez is at 45 miles per hour. On the school zone, they reduced it to 30 miles an hour. Okay. And as you remember, over by Stewart Road, from just north of Ridge, I think it's called Rio Bravo Street, all the way to all the way to the front is at 40. South of that, from Rio Bravo all the way to what is it, 45, 45, 55, goes all the way to Military. So those areas, those two areas, 495 and Stewart Road, the speed limit was reduced.
What, 10 miles an hour?
Yes, about 10 miles an hour, they did. So, and the other question that came about, and that's why I have Mr. Rene Garza here, should you have any questions for him, was the possibility of rerouting some of these truck routes to a different street. One of the things that we talked about at the last meeting is not only the rerouting of it, but also the significance of the asphalt, and not only that, but also the base of the caliche, the expense that the city will take. Stewart Road, as it was questioned, that belongs to TxDOT. It really is not a city street. So the maintenance on Stewart Road is handled by them and not by the city. So it's not as simple as let's reroute it, because let's say that the truck route is coming up on Stewart Road. You want to reroute it to Cesar Chavez. Well, we need to first think about the stop and turn, whether we turn it over Ridge Road or Whole Acres. It doesn't matter which one it is.
Not wide enough.
It's not wide enough, one of them. And the other one is the redoing the street. So not only the 4-inch asphalt, but also redoing the whole base of the caliche. So that will be another big expense on the city. And not only that, now we're talking about Cesar Chavez. So that's another one that we will have to maintain, we will have to redo completely and maintain it more like every year, every 5 years. If we leave it as is, the roads are not gonna last more than a year because of the stop and turn, stop and go on those big heavy trailers, but also the maintenance on it. You know, when it rains, there's gonna be plenty of potholes, the streets are gonna be pretty much gone. So I invited Mr. Rene Garza here tonight with us. If you have any questions for him and see what would be an alternative, or what would be the whatever questions you may have for him.
Mr. Garza, can you hear me, sir?
Yes, Mayor, I'm here. Thank you for the opportunity.
No. Thank you, sir, for being here with us this evening. As far as, pretty sure we've sat down before in the past in regards to this issue on Stewart Road and all the heavy traffic coming down north and southbound lanes. I know we're still getting a lot of concerns from our citizens in regards to this matter. Most importantly, we got schools in the areas where you know, with this heavy traffic, and sometimes I've experienced it myself where I've seen some of these heavy trucks gone through there pretty fast. So Mr. Arjona touched up on some um, areas to where I don't know if we're able to reroute the trucks in any which way, going through Ridge or going through east or west, um, with this type of heavy traffic. I just want you to maybe explain a little bit the history as far as how long this route has been there and the construction of the road on as far as the inches of the asphalt and if there's any layers of concrete when they first developed that road, because obviously you guys are the expert in reference to heavy traffic and stuff like that. I just kind of want you to educate pretty much our citizens, those that are hearing. I know I've gotten calls just recently, and I know the last meeting we had, they were little concerned about us not rerouting the trucks, but I did explain to them as far as the conditions of our roads, our city roads, they're not equipped to handle that kind of traffic. So if you can just pretty much, Mr. Garza, touch up on that and inform our community of why we can't or we can, I don't know, in reference to this matter, sir.
Sure. Stewart Road, FM 2557, is a state road. As a state road, we're not allowed to deny access to any trucks or any vehicles going through state roadways. The only people who would be able to do that through an ordinance would be the city, but you would have to be able to give them an alternate route. Since you have no other route, another state road within your city, you would, if you were to pass an ordinance, you would still need to get approval through TxDOT. But at the same time, you would be sending traffic on another state road, which would be the closest one, which I would be in Alamo, FM 907, or over here on Cage in FAR. So technically, you would be sending more truck traffic to another city. So you would need to discuss that with those cities first before you try to add more truck traffic to it. Now, which I'm sure the neighboring cities wouldn't agree to something of that nature, because we have the same issue with the city of Alamo with trucks going down 907. The city of FAR was able to divert traffic on Ridge Road going to Jackson. So Jackson's technically still part of FAR. So they're able to reroute traffic within their city. Now, FM 2557, Stewart Road, the pavement, we rebuilt that road back in 90, or early 2000s, early 2000. Now, we built it with an 1.5 inches of hot mix, which is the top layer of asphalt, and then 10 inches of flex base, and then 12 inches underneath that of subgrade, treated subgrade. Now, that road didn't last us very long. We had to rebuild it recently, as you remember, probably 2 years ago. We had to go back and rebuild it because of the truck traffic that's going through there. So we went in there and rebuilt it with 3 inches of a special type of hot mix that can withstand truck traffic. And underneath that, we got 10 inches of flex base with that cement treated. And then under that, we have a geosynthetic liner that separates the flex base from the subgrade. And then on the subgrade, we have, it's 12 inches with 6% lime added to that to stiffen up to strengthen the subgrade. So we have a pretty stout section now there that should last a while. But so in rerouting traffic, if you were considering that within the city of San Juan, I don't believe any of your roadways are built to that type of of section. So, as you said, Mr. Arjona, I think you're correct in that you would be having to maintain your roadways, and if they're not built to that type of standard, they might not last as long, and you would have to maintain it. Now, that's something that you would need to, like, depending on what route that you would take them within your city, you would probably need to hire an engineer or something to do some type of study on the roadways to see if how much truck traffic or how much weight it can withstand, to see if it will, how long it would last if you were to reroute within your city. But since 2557 is a state road, like I said, we wouldn't be able to deny truck traffic down that roadway. Now, opportunities that you have, if traffic is driving really fast through that road, and I think the opportunities that you can consider is if you had, more law enforcement stopping traffic, giving them tickets, the more often you do that, the more likely they're going to slow down. So I think that's an opportunity you have there to maybe slow down traffic a little bit if we're having that type of issue, or if we're having maybe I know school is virtual right now because of COVID, but there's opportunities to maybe if having more school crossers or street crossers for any kids that are walking to school and cross them. So I think that'll help them to be safe, and then putting more patrols out during those times. And I think that'll help with the safety aspect through those areas.
Okay. What about maybe even looking at having some sort of like a four-way stop further south from the light that's right there on Ridge to kind of slow down traffic? Can that be something we can look at?
We would have to, it would have to be, well, what road will you be considering? And then we would have to justify a stop there based on traffic counts. If there's no cross traffic, if you have one or two cars and you're putting a four-way stop there, probably won't justify a stop sign.
Well,
But
I think
if you give us the location, we can certainly look at it to see what we could do.
I was looking more towards the Hall Acres area, South Stewart on Hall
Okay.
Acres.
and Mr. Garza, this is Lenny Sanchez, Commissioner Lenny Sanchez, and I think what Mayor's trying to get to is how to slow down the truck before it gets to the school district. So if you slow them down at Hall Acres, by the time it picks up speed, it's got to stop again, and by the time
Right.
it picks up at Ridge Road, by the time it gives all the gears to Sam Houston, that truck will be slower than your normal speed. And I think the question is also, I'd like to ask is, can we or can you reduce the speed to a lower, to a traditional, the 20 to 25 mile per hour versus the 45?
Is it, look, Commissioner
We
Villegas,
recently did a speed study. The only way we can change the speed limit is through a speed study, and that's by law. So we recently did one based on our last discussion when we went, I visited with you all, and we went out and did a speed study and found out where we could adjust our roadways and found out the speed of the traffic. And we're scheduled to this week, or not this week, this month, to adjust just speed limit signs. And hopefully that'll, I think that they're further south now of Ridge. Hopefully it'll slow them down before you get to Ridge Road.
this is Commissioner Villegas. Welcome. I guess basically the overall picture is that we're trying to do everything we can and possible, and with the cooperation and the expertise, of course, with TxDOT, we do understand the situation you just explained. And coming from us as a commission, we get the calls, our city managers, commissioners, or whatever, and are protecting our citizens. And it's just been a constant. There's been some accidents and stuff like that. I know you mentioned right now you may not see a lot of traffic at a four-way stop going east and west. But nonetheless, the commissioner mentioned right now, it does impede the trucks to slow down. And then maybe we can get met halfway. That's really kind of like what we're asking, I guess. To, even if, for instance, if the traffic study doesn't show a lot of traffic going east and west, is there any alternative that maybe the TxDOT can work with us because of the circumstance of the kids in the schools?
Well, we could certainly look at it. I wouldn't be able to promise you anything because we got to follow policies and laws, right? So, what we could look at, obviously look at what the traffic is and see if it warrants a stop. And those, if it does warrant a stop, you know, we would definitely put something up.
Well, correct.
But I wouldn't be
That's what
able
I'm
to
trying to get at.
definitely right now, no.
I'm trying to get at warning the stop, not necessarily on a traffic study going east and west, but for the the whole premise being that we're slowing it down because of schools and stuff like that. You know, the traffic study may not be an impact right here going east and west as far as for our citizens and something like that. Something to consider, maybe that TxDOT can consider for us. And maybe there's some special occasions that they override or what have you, and may be able to do something like that.
Sure, we can look at that, and I'll get with our traffic guys to see what we can do. And if there's a possibility, we will certainly do it. And I'll check with them tomorrow or for sure this week, and I'll get back with Mr. Arjona to see what we're able to do.
I appreciate it, sir. Thank you.
Mr. Garza, my last,
Sure.
my last concern, Mr. Garza, is maybe, I don't know, looking into having a shoulder in between Ridge Road and Sam Houston, because I have never seen this before, but they sent me some pictures during school hours at the time when our kids were in school, that one of these heavy trucks breaking down going on the southbound lane, and it just creates chaotic in that area. Is there any way, maybe looking into maybe having shoulders on both sides, maybe from Ridge Road all the way up to Sam Houston in the future, or maybe,
Yes, I can look at that.
yeah, if you can look
We could look at that.
Okay, yeah, I'd appreciate if you can, you know, with the commission's concerns and what I just brought up as well, if you can maybe just, you know, put that on your notes and look and see if there's any way we can put some kind of shoulders just to have a smooth flow of traffic if one of these heavy trucks do happen to break down. You know, it's just it's chaotic, and I've seen the pictures. I've never seen it firsthand, but you know, traffic gets backed up really bad during school hours. So that's just maybe something you can maybe explore for us as well, sir.
Sure, I'll do that. I also, last time you all brought up the concern of northbound traffic at Ridge Road, with traffic stopping at Ridge to turn, I think, left. And the issue there, I was looking at a way if we could put a left turn or anything in there, but it turns out that the right of way in that area is too narrow on the the southwest and southeast corner. There's two properties there that are, you probably have about 60 foot of right of way there. So there's no room for a left turn without having to purchase a right of way along those areas. So
Okay.
that's an issue there. That's something that, you know, if you guys are looking for that in the future, the city would obviously be responsible for that position of the right of way. So if you're looking long term at something like that, at a left turn or a right turn at that area, that's something to consider.
Okay. Any questions for Mr. Garza? No. Mr. Garza, thank you so much for your time, sir. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for joining us, sir.
I appreciate you all. Thank you for the opportunity.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Any other questions for the directors under presentations? If not, we'll go ahead and move on. Go ahead, sir.
Yes, the next item on the public hearing, we have a hold a public hearing on the adoption of the proposed tax rate and levy for the city of San Juan, Texas for the fiscal year beginning October 1st, 2020, and ending September 30th, 2021. On Tuesday, August 25th, Mayor Commissioner of the City Commission voted and approved the proposed tax rate of the .6926 fiscal year October 1st, 2020 through September 30th, 2021, and scheduled one required public hearing on September 8th, 2020. However, in accordance with the property tax law, if the proposed tax rate of .6926 over 100 valorem exceeds the effective tax rate of .6534 or rollback tax rate of .6926, therefore, public hearing on the proposed rate will be required before the City Commission adopts the tax rate ordinance.
Time, I'm gonna go ahead and open this up at 6:36 PM. 6:36 PM. Is there anyone here for or against? For or against? Any questions for Mr. Arjona, members of the commission? If not, I'll go ahead and close this at 6:37 PM. Is there a motion approved? Is there a second? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you.
The next item, hold a public hearing for the voluntary annexation petition of the proposed Cesar Heights subdivision, being a 1.61 acre tract of land out of Lot 4, Block 27, Alamo Land and Sugar Company subdivision as per the map recorded in Volume 1, pages 24 through 26. Map records as requested by Ricardo Casares. The planning department is processing a residential subdivision located approximately a quarter of a mile south of Moore Road, along the west side of Cesar Chavez Road. Part of the subdivision is outside the city limits, but within the city of San Juan extraterritorial jurisdiction, ETJ, and it is the city's policy to annex subdivisions processed and approved within the cities, ETJ. On August 11, 2020, the City Commission approved a resolution 20-14, accepting the petition for voluntary annexation and setting dates and times for the public hearing. And in front of you, within the packet, you have a picture as to what this land is, where the land is situated at.
I'm gonna go ahead and open this up at 6:38 PM. Is there anyone here for or against? For or against? Any questions from the members of the commission? Okay, with that being said, I'll go ahead and close this at 6:38 PM. Is there a motion to approve? Is there a second? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you.
The next item on the warning says discussion and possible action to amend the Personnel Policy Manual, Chapter 4, Leaves of Absences, Section 4.04, Holiday Leave, and Ordinance 2005-030. On this particular item, Mayor Commissioners, we recommended to amend the Personnel Policy, Chapter 4, the Leave of Absence, Section 4.04, which is Holiday Leave, Section 8, Subsection A, observe the holidays in Ordinance 2005-030. The city currently observes 11 holidays during the year. Staff is recommending to observe 3 additional holidays to include Martin Luther King, Columbus Day, and Veterans Day. Additional holidays would coincide with the business days of operation of other governmental agencies, which will ultimately provide a better service to our residents and anyone doing business with the city.
So this was pretty much, I know I had spoke to you, Mr. Arjona, in regards to this matter. I know I brought it to your attention as far as maybe having our employees follow the county holidays.
Yes, Mayor.
They do follow, this is pretty much
This is
county.
pretty much the county's guidance, what they follow.
And so they're getting additional days off.
Yes,
Am I correct?
yeah, that is correct.
I have no problem with that. Any questions for Mr. Arjona? No? With that being said, is there a motion to approve? Is there a second? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations, employees, if you can hear me.
Employees,
Well
serve it.
deserved.
enjoy it.
Thank you.
Go ahead, sir.
The next item on the agenda, Mayor, Commissioners, is under discussion and possible action on all of the following matters. We have considered authorizing city manager to enter into interlocal agreement with the city of Westlaco for the animal shelter professional services. Obviously, this is for the animal control. We've been doing this for the past few years with the city of Westlaco for the animal shelter. This is pretty much the same contract as what we had in the past couple of years. Nothing has changed. They've been providing excellent services to the city. We don't have any issues with them, and we recommend that approval of this item.
You kind of enlighten me, Mr. Arjona, why did we go to the Westico? Were they were a little cheaper, right?
Not cheaper than the McAllen.
Yeah, the
shelter
one in
place.
Edinburgh?
Yes, by Trenton, if I'm not mistaken.
Exactly. Okay.
It was a
Yeah,
tremendous savings on
I
that.
remember this. Okay, no problem. Any questions for Mr. Arjona? If not, is there a motion to approve? It's been moved by Commissioner Neto. Is there a second? By Commissioner Villegas. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you.
The next one, Mayor Commissioners, we have a consider authorizing the city manager to declare various vehicles as salvaged and surplus property. As you can see, this is the Parks and Recreation Department. Would like to recommend the following vehicles be declared as salvage. They're as follows. Parks 310, Unit 310, 309, 302, 303, 304, 307, 308, and a cargo van. Within your packet, you have some pictures of the vehicles and the conditions of the vehicles. So we'd like to declare those as salvage. Some of these vehicles have been replaced already with some of the CARES Act monies. We're very thankful of that, and we're trying to retire these items.
Okay, good deal. Any questions for Mr. Arjona? Can you, oh, no, okay. Yeah. All righty. Where do you all have these located?
They're by the, what is that called, by the wetlands, the property by building maintenance? That's where they're at.
Right. With that being said, is there a motion to approve? Is there a second? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you.
The next item, Mayor Commissioners, consider authorizing the city manager to enter into interlocal agreement between the Lower Rio Grande Valley Development Council out of West Laco, Texas, and the city of San Juan, Texas, regarding for provision of 911 service. The LRGVDC has referred the attached interlocal agreement to the city for review and approval. This agreement is needed in order to continue providing 911 services to our community. Pretty much what they're asking, continue asking is so that we can be on the same page as 911 when we issue out addresses. And we've been doing that. We've been very successful that we don't duplicate addresses. So if in case of an emergency, we don't have an ambulance or first responder responding to different addresses where it's not the address, the correct address. So this would alleviate all of that confusion and just make sure that 911 is in line with whatever the postal services have.
And
It's a renewal, yes, sir.
it's every year?
Every single year, yes.
Okay, the only concern I have, Mr. Arjona, and is that I know I spoke to you in reference to the gentleman who lives on Salazar Street, and he's been living there for years. And apparently someone bought the lot right next to him, and they told him the way it was plotted or whatever, that it's the same address as him. So I don't know if the city needs to go over there and figure out how you guys are gonna distinguish who's,
So, Other Mayor, do you recall the address on this particular street or gentleman?
I have it right here in front of me. Do you want me to read on the record, or?
Yes, sir.
Or you want me to just give it to you later?
You can give it to me, read on the record, doesn't matter.
Okay,
And
for
I'll
the
get with
record, gentleman by the name of Freddy Castillo, and he lives on 210 West Salazar.
Salazar.
And the individual who purchased the property and who did build a home, they're telling him his address is 210 Salazar. So, you know what I'm saying? So we need to get
And-
with,
right.
I don't know, planning or
It'll be
Mr.
with
Escobar.
planning. And
Okay.
these are some of the issues that we faced when we first incorporated 911 with our services, that we had some existing addresses that were not coinciding with the 911. So this would alleviate some of this confusion, and this would alleviate and assure that the addresses that are being given to the public or to the citizens that come to the city, they're unique, so that it'll be 911 and the postal services are gonna be just one.
Correct.
We're not gonna have any duplicate, but most definitely, we're gonna visit with this Mr. Gentleman, Freddy Castillo, on this particular address with planning and zoning, and make sure that we can rectify that.
Yeah,
issue.
can you please do, and I'll just go ahead and, by the end of as soon as we're done with this meeting, I'll give you his contact phone number.
Sure.
And, if you and Mr. Escobar can square this off,
Yeah, we'll take
can
care
you
of it.
just give him a courtesy call and just let him know that
Definitely.
you guys are looking into this?
Yeah, we'll do that.
Okay, thank you. With that being said, is there a motion to approve? Is there a second? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Under consent agenda, we have item A, B, C, and D. Notice you can pull any items out if you'd like to discuss further.
At this time, is there anything we need to modify or amend under consent agenda? Modify or amend? If not, is there a motion to approve? Is there a second? All those in favor say aye. Motion carries. Is there a motion to adjourn? Is there a Go ahead, sir.
But hold on, real quick, 'cause we had seen something on, and I was just gonna ask you real quick, just to clear, we had a gentleman retire, recently, we just found out about it, and, more that, the city, so I just wanted to make sure that you were on top of it, but I understand that the explanation you gave me is because the director wasn't here, correct?
Right, and one of the things is, like I spoke to the lady and the gentleman that I spoke to them this morning, it originates or it initiates from the department level. I mean, we knew that the gentleman had retired, but at no given point did they reach out to us, administration, saying, hey, we'd like to do this retirement farewell for the ex-employee. So we were not aware of that. I spoke to them and I told them that in the future, or with this one, is that we need to get together and plan something with everybody else, just like what we had with the other retiree, Ms. Yolanda Jackson. The lady that the department director was out, she was out sick, and when she got back, we planned the retirement little party get together, and that's what we're doing. The gentleman from the department director, he's out. He won't be back maybe within the next week or so. But once he comes back, we can initiate that, or we can do it now. So by the time he comes back, we'll have something in play already. It is not the city's expensing this out. It is the actual employees pitching in for the meals. So it is something that it is within the employees that we participate in all these different little events that they have as a farewell for their retirement and for the user service. We all pitch in for the meals and also for the plaques that we give them. So
Well,
yes, we're on top of that. It was disappointing to see that post.
I just wanted to clear that up, for the
Right.
public, just to make sure that,
Right.
there's a protocol and Mr. Salinas has been out.
Right.
And so that never got to you, it never got to us,
Right.
so,
So we didn't know.
now that that's cleared up, good, we'd like to recognize him and
Yes.
thank him at the time.
And he'll be recognized at the given time that we plan, like I said, plan the little get-together,
Good.
farewell party for Mr. Murillo, and also invite the whole commission like we do in every single retirement.
I think, just to clarify it and just to make sure that everyone's on the same page, Mr. Juan, I think it's best that you send out an email tomorrow to all your directors and you let them know what Commissioner Markey brought up to your attention.
Right.
So that way, we have it on writing.
Right.
And if we'd appreciate it that our directors let you know,
Right.
if anyone's retiring, like just recently, I got a call, one of our employees, wife passed away, and that's something very important, and I think that we as a commission should know.
Mayor, again, on that, I'm sorry, I was not aware of that.
Yeah,
until
you see what I'm
actually
saying,
texted me.
but I know it's no one's, I mean, it's
Right.
just, the communication.
Right.
But I think from here on out, I will get it fixed, that's not
Right.
a problem, it's just, addressing it with our directors as soon
Right.
as they hear anything like that,
Commu-
or
yeah.
there's a retirement coming down the pipeline, I think they should notify you, so that way you can let us know.
Or
Yeah.
any city function, they're gonna be doing a function for an employee in city property or anything like that, you need to be notified.
Sure.
Like that, we get caught off guard, like the last incident we had a couple years back where nobody knew what was going on.
Right.
And I think those are things that we need to address, that if they're gonna do anything in their city property, and they're on their own, that's their deal, but if it's in city property, they do notify you, like that, you have an idea exactly what's going on in
Right.
our city.
And as a matter of fact, we're having a staff meeting tomorrow first thing in the morning, so that's some of the.
Yeah,
items
and
we're
that's
going
all
to
I
get on this.
ask, I mean, just to make sure that we're all on the same page and the communication's
Right.
there, because, I mean,
But we'll take care of that, not a problem.
Appreciate it.
all right?
Yes, sir.
So, with that being said, is there a motion to approve
So
on
moved.
consent agenda?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. There's-
What's already done?
We're adjourning, Mayor.
Where did turn that one? It just,
Last motion to adjourn.
to adjourn. We just needed to adjourn.
And
No,
Mr.
but-
Villegas had made the motion, and we're, no, actually, Mr. Sanchez made the motion, and we're just waiting for a second.
I second.
But we didn't take it on a vote. We didn't vote on the consent, because he,
Yes, we did, Mayor.
So he
yeah,
said-
we did? Okay. All right, so, okay, with that being said, is there a second?
Second.
This meeting has been adjourned at 6:50 PM.
Good night, gentlemen.